Alright guys, hope everyone's doing well. There's another part of my business series, getting back to basics. Just left the gym, going to grab something to eat before I go home, and it's a beautiful sunny day, so I'm going for a walk and sharing something with you that's going to be very helpful. Okay, I believe in basic fundamentals because you can't build a house, or a house won't stand if it's not built on a strong foundation, right? So you got to build a solid foundation based on principles, based on facts, and based on values. You got to do that. Does that make sense? Because if you don't do that, you're never going to be consistent. Your business is going to fail. It's just the way it is. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to share with you is principles that I use all the time, and I never lose sight of them. Why? Because if you lose sight of them, you're never going to know what the real problems are, right? And why you're not successful, why your business is not growing, why you're not producing more sales. So here's the deal. The deal is this. The number one thing that you have to do, and you got to stay focused on this, when you're going to go after a lead, or you're going to go after a prospect, you better isolate what problems they may have before you even think about calling them or emailing them or texting them, or however you get engaged with people. You better know and isolate what their problem is, if they even have one, and if your product and service could even solve it. See, that's the problem. Everybody thinks that they have a product that's for everybody, and that's not the case. So for me, I know in my case, every business owner, every entrepreneur needs what I have to offer. We all need it. My thing is, I got to identify and know up front they have a problem, and then I got to get them to want what they need. But when I identify my client's problem, I know it comes down to two things. It comes down to qualified leads and sales. That's it. That's the bottom line. Think about it. So what you have to do is, number one, you have to identify your prospect's problems. Problem or problem. Number two is, once you identify it, right, you got to isolate that problem. You got to isolate the cause of the problem. Because if you don't understand the cause of the problem, you're never going to solve the problem, which means you're not going to produce different results. Like insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So what you have to do is, once you identify, number two, you got to isolate the problem. You got to know the cause of the problem before you speak with them and during the conversation with them, because they may not be what you think it is. They may really reveal something else to you, but you have to be ready. When you identify the problem, you got to isolate it right away, and you got to be prepared to understand the cause of their problem or problems. Does that make sense? All right, so now once you do that, number three is, you better have solutions. You got to have solutions, because it makes no sense that you understand the problem, you isolate it, but you can't do nothing about it. That makes no sense. Why would you want to do that? Does that make sense? So you got to have a real solution to the prospect's problem or problems, right? Does that make sense? So that's number three. You better have real solutions. Number four, once you have the solutions and you convey to your prospect what those solutions are, you have to take action on it. Right? you got to show them how it's going to be solved. Not in hypotheticals, but in reality. People want the real truth. So you got to take that action. Does that make sense? And you got to be able to produce and provide solutions to this prospect so that you can convert them into a customer. Does that make sense? And then finally is this. And this is the process I go through. When I go through the first 4 steps, step number 5 is once identify the prospect's problem, right? And they realize that I understand their problem. And I isolated it. I understood the cause of their problem. I explained to them what their problem is, right? And then they see that I have a solution to their problem, right? By what I say and what I show them. They see that I have solution. Now they're expecting me to take action. But in order to take action, and when you do take action, step number 5 is you got to close the deal. Because all that means nothing unless you close the deal. And this is where people go wrong. When they don't do the first 2 or 3 steps correctly, then they have an uphill battle. Then they really can't close. Because now they got to start justifying and defending. You never want to be in that position. You want to be in a position of strength, in a position of trust, in a position that you know what the hell you're talking about. And that no matter who they know, you are the person that's going to solve their problem. And they're willing to pay you more because they're going to see value. Does that make sense? So this is what I do. For me, this is just basic fundamentals. It really, really is. And it blows my mind how people just overlook it. You know, but if you stick to the basic fundamentals, your business is going to grow just by default. Your sales are going to improve. Your salespeople will improve. Your environment in your business will improve if you stick to the basic fundamentals. So anyway, guys, I'm on my way to have something to eat. I hope this has been helpful. Again, if you're watching me on my channel, do me a favor, smash the like button, share your comments because it does help the algorithm. And also, if you've been following me or you've been watching my channel and you want to follow me, just hit the subscription button below and hit the notification so that you can be aware of the new videos that are going to be coming out soon. Anyway, till we speak again, I say goodbye. This is Paul Cruz with Paul Cruz Sales Agency. Have a fantastic day. Talk to you later. Bye.